so just write down anything that's
Okay.
suspicious that we can discuss.
Really suspicious.
Are the judges ready? Is the timer ready?
Yes.
Almost? Okay. All right, let's begin. Good morning, my partners Emma Fargo, Holland Osterfeld, and I are for the resolution that the American Alliance of Museums should adopt a nationwide policy requiring free admission to all art museums. Observation 1, definitions. American Alliance of Museums, a group of museums whose goal is to advance the knowledge and nourish the human spirit. Policy, a high-level overall plan embracing the general goals of acceptable procedures, especially of a governmental body. Merriam-Webster's Dictionary, 10th edition. Art, creative activity resulting in the production of paintings, drawings, and sculpture, google.com. Museum, a house or apartment appropriated as a repository of things that have immediate relation to the arts, a cabinet of curiosities, American Dictionary of the English Language, by Noah Webster, 1828. Admission, the process or fact of entering or being allowed to enter a place, organization, or institution, dictionary.com. Observation 2, harms. Harm 1, accessibility. Mrs. Macaulay, a reporter for the Baltimore Sun, has recently written about massive declines in attendance, citing drops in annual attendance at the Baltimore Museum of Art, 12.7% in the last 15 years. At the Walters Museum of Art, 24.1% from a peak of 195,000 visitors in 2008. At the Reginald F. Lewis Museum of Maryland, which has seen attendance seek 53% from the opening year high of 104,500 visitors. End quote, Steve Rohde, January 18, 2018, hyperallergenic.com. People's interest in museums is decreasing rapidly, and by giving free admission to all residents, it allows more interest and makes going to a museum more accessible. Harm 2, cost. All art museums are funded by multiple things such as taxes, admissions, and donations. 6% of their total income is from federal, 2% from state, 3% from county, 4% from the city, and 0.5% from other government taxes, totaling up to 15.5% from taxes paid by the people, and only 7% is from admissions. From the 2018 edition of Art Museums by the Numbers at aamd.org. Harm 3, education. Quote, with the rise of the digital age, art has become more accessible than ever before. All it takes is the stroke of a couple keys, and suddenly a library of art from any time period can appear on your screen. There is much to be gained from this exposure to many types of art, but with that being said, when we stop viewing art in person, we lose a bit of the meaning behind the experience. A picture can't show the buildup of paint created by repeated brushstrokes by the artist, and it can't show the bend in the wood the work was painted on. Seeing art in person really changes how it is interpreted. End quote, Bailey Schaefer, February 19, 2017, theodysseyonline.com. It is hard to interpret our art without seeing it in person. You don't feel the emotion that the artist intended the viewer to feel. Observation 3, plan. Mandates. First mandate, free for residents of the city who have an ID to museums who receive at least 15% of taxes. Mandate 2, we save money by removing the conservation projects to foreign countries. Agency, the American Alliance of Museums. Enforcement, the American Alliance of Museums. Funding will come from the money saved during the second mandate in the timeline of summer 2019. Observation 4, advantages. Harm 1, accessibility, quote. Though the required admission for out-of-towners will result in a relatively modest revenue increase, Mr. Weiss said that if every part operates a little better, we can get where we need to go. Mr. Weiss emphasized that the change will not be undertaken lightly and that the Met had evaluated several possible options, including mandatory admissions for everyone at a lower price point and charging for special exhibits. End quote, Robin Forbes, January 4th, 2018 from the NewYorkTimes.com. The quote above is talking about the Met's new admission policy. They have now changed their free admissions to free admissions for residents, and it has helped them maintain their exhibits and still keep a steady number of guests. Harm 2, cost. Quote, admission fees only make up 5% of general operating budgets for art museums. If you have other streams of income on the premises, such as concessions and gift shops, the money might find its way right back through with another channel. End quote. Leah Rainey, November 22nd, 2017 from TaylorStudios.com. If you take away the admission fee, it allows for more residents to come to the museum and more than likely allows residents to be willing to spend money at concessions and gift shops. The money from shops and concessions could easily make up for that 5% loss in admission fees. Harm 3, educations. Quote, students who attend a field trip to an art museum experience an increase in critical thinking skills, historical empathy, and tolerance, and students from rural or high poverty regions, the increase was even more significant, end quote, from the AAM website, which is regularly updated at aam-us.org. By allowing for free entry for residents, this can apply to schools. If local schools were given more opportunities to visit art museums, it will allow the children to receive a better education. In conclusion, my partners and I believe strongly that the resolution, the American Alliance of Museums should adopt a nationwide policy requiring free admission to all art museums, is not only practical but necessary for the public to obtain a deeper interest and appreciation for art. We believe that the local community is more important than the tourist industry. Thank you. I now stand ready for cross-examination.
So, remember last week's, this one right here for the homework.
Okay, so not two.
Yeah, 3.
For prep or?
Cross-examination.
Oh, Taylor, please slow down next time. Jesus.
Are the judges ready?
Yes.
Is the timer ready? Is the affirmative team ready? Okay. I've got some questions to ask you. First, may I have a copy of your 1AC? Thank you. Are your sources credible and unbiased?
Yes.
Are the dates up to date?
Yes.
Can you please restate your mandate?
Which one?
Your first one.
Mandate 1. Free for residents of the city who have an IG to museums who receive at least 15% taxes.
Okay. So the people who have access to the museums have to be in that percentage of taxes.
Can you repeat the question?
So you said that people have to be in the 15% tax bracket?
I'm saying the museum has to be within the 15% tax bracket.
Okay.
Not the people.
So who qualifies to go into a museum?
Anyone who wants to go. I don't understand the question.
Okay. So you said that, can you please repeat? Okay, never mind. If you're making admission free, don't you think that that's undermining the people who work there and the artist?
We are only making it free for residents, and I do not believe that it undermines the people who work there.
Okay. Could people with disabilities enter in as well?
Yes.
Will you allow service dogs?
It depends on the museum's rules.
Okay.
We're not changing the rules.
And will there be a fee for special exhibits?
Only if the museum charges free fees for special exhibits.
Okay. I have no further questions.
Thank you.
Negative team would like 3 minutes of prep time, please. That's on 1.
Alright. Do you want a copy of this, Emma? Okay, right. Sorry.
This is for significance part 2. So this is harm 2. So that's harm 1. Harm 2. This is harm 2 for significance for harm 3. Classical education. Okay, so this is harm 3. So you have harm 1 and 2 and 3, and now we need to work on signification. You have your definitions, right? Okay, so now we need signification for harm 1. This is advantage on 1. Okay, so you have harm 2, right? Signification, okay, so for significance, harm 3. Oh, Taiwan school, Taiwan school. Where is that? Where is it? Oh man, I thought I had this. Crap. Taiwan school, yeah.
Thank you. Yes, okay.
Where are you, Taiwan school?
And I will the definition for residents. Okay, because, yeah. Okay. It just became up. Yes.
Where's the guys? Taiwan schools. Now you still need harm 3. Crap. I need to find this. just to maintain crap down. Tourist. Alright, can we have 1 more minute of prep time, please? This is harm 3 for signification. So remember the rules and understand yeah. So follow the outline, breathe, take it nice and slow, right? And if you panic, just outline, right? Also, remember, try to come up with outlines off the card, try to explain it best you can. If you can't, keep moving, right? And so for these, they should go back the actual full amount, right? You got this.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Jeez. So accept the definition. How many, so what are our definitions that we're bringing up? Correlation, so we disagree with cost. So we deny the affirmative definition. Yes, we deny the definition of cost.
That's it.
That's what
Oh, it becomes, oh, okay,
What?
okay.
Yeah, just so you know.
Yeah. So it's a new one. Okay.
Okay. Are the judges ready?
Yes.
Is the timer ready?
Yes.
So affirmative team ready. Okay. Then let's continue. My name is Kristen Haskin, and these are my partners, Val Bandini and Hope Ockman. We firmly stand against the resolution. The American Alliance of Museums should adopt a nationwide policy requiring free admission to all art museums. Observation 1, definitions. The negative team denies the affirmative team's definition on cost, and we would like to add our own definitions of foreign relations, the dealing and relations between nations, cite dictionary.com. Differential pricing is a method of charging different prices for the same type of product for the same quantity. The companies that adopt the differential pricing method try to maximize profit. This strategy is also known as the discriminatory pricing or multiple pricing. Site www.businessjargons.com. Business Jargons, July 2015. Let's see. Cost. Quote, cost by definition states an amount that has been paid or given up in order to get something, and business cost is usually a monetary evaluation of 1, effort, 2, material, 3, resources, 4, time, and utilities consumed, 5, potential risk, and lastly 6, opportunities forgone in production and delivery of good or service. Citation www.businessdictionary.com. Title I school. Quote, Title I is the largest federally funded educational program. The program provides supplemental funds to school districts to assist schools with the highest student concentrations of poverty to meet school education goals. A Title I school is school receiving federal funds for the Title I students. Citation www.dictionary.com. Observation 2, harms. Harm 1,